This is a presentation on Joel E. Ringdahl. My name is Amanda Cahow. Dr. Ringdahl attended the University of Florida and earned his Bachelor's of Science in 1992, and then he went on to attend Louisiana State University, where he earned his Master's of Arts in 1995 and then PhD in Psychology finally in 1999. He is the co-editor of a book, and his research has been published in many journals, one of them professionally known as JABA, or the Journal of Applied Behavior Analysis. He worked as a psychologist in Iowa, and he's now in Georgia. He's alive and well and living and researching there. He is an associate professor at the University of Georgia. He's also affiliated with the Center for Autism and Behavioral Education Research, which is a part of the University of Georgia, and also spends his time researching with special education and other applied behavior analysis clinics. He is also an associate editor now of JABA. Dr. Ringdahl's area of interest is with humans, more specifically children and individuals with developmental disabilities, or those with autism as well. And he's curious about reinforcement schedules that decrease severe problem behavior. He has spent a lot of his research looking at non-contingent reinforcement, where reinforcer is delivered contingent upon a passive time and regardless of problem behavior. And he also has looked at differential reinforcement of alternative behavior, or DRA, and this is where the alternative response is reinforced over the problem behavior. And a more specific type of DRA that Dr. Ringdahl has done research with is functional communication training, which is basically training a response where an individual can request or demand for a reinforcer. And this is important because we want to find a way to respond that is more socially acceptable than, say, throwing a tantrum. So the first article that I looked at was one of Dr. Ringdahl's earlier studies, and this looked at 3 participants with mild to severe mental retardation, and they took a baseline and then attempted to use the fixed time schedule, and they used schedules that were similar or dissimilar, and then compared them to the baseline. And the FT schedule that was dissimilar, where the reinforcers were delivered to the participant either more or less, this actually decreased response rates more significantly than when it was similar to the baseline and when compared to the extinction condition. And the next article I found was actually a review of non-contingent reinforcement, and Dr. Ringdahl wrote this one on his own. He reviewed non-contingent reinforcement as a treatment method for decreasing problem behaviors that are severe in individuals with disabilities. And they talked about, or the research he found talked about density of reinforcer and how this can impact whether or not behavior can be decreased. One limitation that Dr. Ringdahl discussed was the use of non-contingent reinforcement as long-term maintenance, and he suggested the potential use of non-contingent reinforcement in combination with differential reinforcement of alternative behavior. And so I was curious to see if his other studies were going to review off of this one. So the next one I found was 5 years later, and Dr. Ringdahl also investigates non-contingent reinforcement. This time he looks at how a signal can enhance behavior and how it can help this negative behavior decrease, because we want our reinforcement schedules to be more effective. So Dr. Ringdahl and his team wanted to see if having a timer signal would help this behavior decrease. So if they heard the timer and they knew the reinforcer was coming, he wanted to see what this would do. He used one participant, and they found that using the signals resulted in more effective non-contingent reinforcement, or a decrease in severe problem behaviors. And Dr. Ringdahl and his team noted that it's important to take into consideration the effect of positive reinforcement with preferred reinforcers to minimize problem behaviors. The fourth article by Dr. Ringdahl was on a behavioral phenomenon he calls resurgence. And this is where a behavior that was previously reinforced shows up again after some time of the response not being reinforced, and an alternative response has been reinforced, and then extinction of reinforcers for both responses occurs. And this is just another review, so he goes over some studies that have talked about whether or not this behavioral phenomenon might pop up, and some factors that can determine whether or not resurgence might occur is how long reinforcement has been in place and the amount of time the individual has been exposed to the alternative treatment. And the final article was from 2018, and this is by Dr. Ringdahl and a huge team, and they looked at how an individual's preference for response and how this may or may not affect whether their behavior changes. So this article involved 2 experiments. There was 7 participants total, and they tried functional communication training, and then tried it with individuals with little problem behavior and communication delays, and then tried it on participants with more severe problem behavior. And they found that having a preferred man can help decrease problem behaviors and increase how an individual responds. So if I were to interact with Dr. Ringdahl, the interview questions I would ask him are: what event or experience in your life led to your curiosity for studying behavior? What led to you teaching and researching at the University of Georgia? Which reinforcement schedule is most effective in your own life and why? What has been your favorite part about working with the University of Georgia Center for Autism and Behavioral Education Research? And finally, if you could give one piece of advice to a future behavior analyst, what would it be? So Dr. Ringdahl has done a lot of great research, and he really does aim to find reinforcement schedules that work well with decreasing problem behaviors, and especially those ones that are severe and not socially acceptable. And the research that I read by him, he really looks at these schedules and then looks at how using signals or response preference can affect whether or not these severe behaviors can decrease. And his research has grown a lot throughout the last 2 decades that he has been working. And his studies continue to be as complex, like his most recent one that I found. I believe the field of behavior analysis will greatly benefit from his research because it's important to consider man's and how people might want to respond. And I just really enjoyed researching about Dr. Ringdahl, and I look forward to see what his future research brings out, because I think the work that he's doing with reinforcement schedules and these preferences and figuring out how people can signal for a reinforcer, I think that's really important and could do a lot for this field. And these are the references that I use for this presentation in my paper. Thank you for watching.